our review of Games Workshop's newest model. We're going to see how this works. My voice is not the tip-top shape that it usually is in, so I may or may not be in good shape. I may or may not be able to talk for that long. We're going to see. But I wanted to do a model review of Lakor, the Dark Master Chaos Demon model that came out from Games Workshop, and do a little bit of a review of the model itself and potentially maybe build it really quick and see what we got. I know I haven't done a lot of model videos, but I wanted to get this one done and get it out for you guys, so I'll be enjoyed. It is pretty massive. I want to say a big shout out and thank you to Undiscovered Realms for hooking me up with this stuff, as they always do, making sure that I get what I need so I can play my games, which is always appreciated. And like I said, we'll see how my voice does. Been trying to drink some tea and stuff in the morning, so I may not be able to talk, like I said, for too long. But let's take a look. It is massive. It is a big box. Now, what's really cool about this model is that you, as you can see from the front of it, you can use it in 40K or in Age of Sigmar, because that is one of the cool things about the demon models in general, is that you can actually use them in both games. You can see here just the carnage and craziness. I mean, this model is massive and huge. Blade of Shadows, which is the weapon that he carries. We have some amazing details that they're showing in here. You can see that I love when they do these really amazing articulated bases, and obviously for Age of Sigmar, you can see here, you can either have fantasy guys on the bottom or 40K guys. I don't know exactly where I want to go with this. I mean, I would more so use him. I would use him probably in 40K with my Nurgle army, but I mean, he is part of the Chaos faction, so I was going to use him more for scenario play or some other interesting play. But yeah, so there's going to be a little bit of customizing elements I'm noticing, because even I'm noticing like the hanging options, you have like some of the cybernetic hanging skulls there, which is interesting. So there's going to be a lot of different ways you can use this model and pose them. So without further ado, let's get this sucker built. Or not, well, starting to build them. I don't know if we'll be able to build all of them. And I think I'll do a separate model video. I had some Stormcast Eternal stuff, which we might do in a separate video. I'm going to move this out of the way too, because I don't really need this here right now. And I'm going to move this back up here, because I don't need that there. So let's take a look. So of course we have the assembly guide, and I was going to say, probably going to give us the rules for him. Chaos Demon. Alright, so let's see. So I'll review his rules really quick for Age of Sigmar. So you can see there, Blade of Shadows. He totals up at 14 wounds, which is crazy. His move is a variable move, but if he's got fairly no wounds on him, he can move up to 14 inches. He's got sorry guys. He's got Chaos Demon, Demon Prince, Slaves to Darkness, Undivided, Hero, Wizard, Monster. So those are his keywords, which, like I said, Chaos, you really have to play him in like a Chaos Demon army, which is what I want to do. I do eventually want to make a Chaos Demon army, which I have the units and part of the units for that. Dark Master, so this model can fly, so he also can fly, which is crazy. single model, but are armed with the Blade of Shadows, a feral. So he gets all of those armed weapons. And he's got Dark Master. Many pub stands are once per battle. At the start of an enemy hero phase, you can pick one enemy unit on the battlefield until your next hero phase. At the start of each phase, including the phase in which the unit was picked, you can roll a dice for that unit. On 3+, the unit cannot move, shoot, fight, use command abilities, chant prayers, attempt to cast spells, attempt to dispel endless spells, or attempt to unbind spells in that phase. So you can just shut a unit down. And there's no range for that. Lord of Torment. If an enemy unit fails a battle shock test while it is within 12 inches of the model, you can heal up to D3 wounds allocated. So if you get people to fail bravery checks, you can actually heal up. That's crazy. Ignore modifiers, positive or negative, when making save rolls for attacks that target this model. Ignore modifiers. Okay, so you can't get modifiers on damage. Magic. This model is a wizard. He can attempt to cast 2 spells in the hero phase and attempt to unbind 2 spells in the enemy phase. It knows the Arcane Bolt, Mystic Shield, and Feeble Foe spell. And Feeble Foe has a casting value of 6. It's steadily cast. Pick one enemy unit within 18 inches of the cast, and visible to them. Subtract 1 from wound rolls for attacks made with melee weapons by this unit. Okay, so it basically shuts down, makes it harder for them to hit melee wise. So that's a good setup if you got people close to him. And then we can take a look. Blade of Shadows, 2 inches. He has 8 attacks when he's at full wounds. To hit is +3. To wound is +3. So it's a 3+, which is really nice. It's got a rend of -2, and it's 2 damage. Wow, 2 damage per attack. That's insane. And again, Fell Claw is 1 inch. Attacks 1. It's +3/+3 -1. 2 damage. That's crazy. So he's doing 10 attacks a turn. Oh my god. And the tail hits on a +1. That's nuts. So his stats are insane. And then looking on the 40k side for a quick minute, for all you 40k players out there, I don't know why I'm like relying on the close-up cam. Yeah, so you can see so when he starts at his full wounds, he's got a pretty decent movement. I mean, he's got 16 wounds in general. And that's what his stats are for the weapon. That's not that bad. Even on 40k side, he's pretty massive. Alright. Yeah, so literally the only difference between is what you hang on his wings. So I'll show you guys. Depending on if you want to do them for the Age of Sigmar look, it's going to be, again, what you hang. So the skulls you hang and the body you put at the bottom. And then for 40k, you're going to just switch out those two. So he doesn't, I mean, he doesn't really have any customizable elements to him. He's just got, he actually seems like a fairly easier assembly than I thought he was going to be. And that's going to be the base size for him. So he's on a fairly large base, but he's not that large because he's a demon prince, so he's actually a little smaller. What's going to make this model much more large is going to be more the wingspan. That's what's really going to make the model be big and bulky. It's not going to be it's not actually going to be the so what's interesting about him is that from a Broken Realms perspective, which you know, they just came out with the lore book for him, so from a Broken Realms perspective, he's not that big. I think that was one. Yeah, that was one. He's not like, for instance, Techless, that model is much bigger. Because in Broken Realms, a lot of the characters are more named characters. They're not necessarily very big characters. Because in a lot of the Broken Realms lore, they are, you know, some of them are actually trying to achieve godhood. Which I unfortunately did not get a chance to get the model. But I was trying to get my hands on a very cool model for these Daughters of Cain models, which I wanted. And they were... She actually transforms. Is this... Okay. There we go. She actually transforms the model. So, like, you play as a normal person, just trying to dry fit this together so I kind of understand a little bit better. This is going to be one of those types of models. Okay. So I will say one thing about this model already. Like, I mean, it's true of all. I say it like it's a... I'm saying it as if it's this like weird fact that I'm gonna like imbue you guys with, but you may want to invest. You may want to invest in a, like, make sure you're sanding down those edges when you pull it off the sprues, because sorry, I could already see, like, if you have any extra residue at all from the sprue, it's going to cause the alignment to be off. Now, funny little story about that. Because this is going to be an interior piece, you could be a little... You could be a little unforgiving if you want. With that. So if you want to, like, make it a little bit more sloppy the way you cut, it's going to be inside, so you just got to be, like, mindful and smart about it, because your surface area to glue, of course, is part of what you're giving up there. But yeah, if you have any additional pieces left over, where it's like in the groove, or there's some plastic that didn't get roughed out well, you're gonna notice that you're gonna find that you might have some issues lining it up. Also, another problem that these models will sometimes run into is surface area. So they make these, they make these really awesome models, but they'll make them with a lot of delicate areas. So there'll be very little surface area that like glues together. Now I'm using Gorilla Super Glue. Super Glue is nice, but it will take a little longer to set. So as you saw when I first put this on, it didn't set properly right away. It's because it's not like plastic glue. Plastic glue, what it does is, for folks that are maybe newer to hobbying or haven't necessarily used glue, plastic glue fuses plastic together. So it will literally yeah, this is gonna be a little bit of fun. I may have to wait like a little bit more properly until that dries. Because I have to put a little bit more pressure on this. That's weird. Does that have to go under? Okay, there we go. I'm missing where it's actually. Oof, this is gonna be a tough model. This is gonna be a tough build. If I'm having this much trouble and all I'm doing is the base part of it. Yeah, I would recommend, as I'm doing with mine, do it from the back, because that's gonna give you the true like lineup of this. Because there we go. Because like I was saying before, when they do models like this, they'll have very delicate like ways that the model has to fit together, and it lends itself to this lack of surface area. So what that means is that there's a very fine line. That's what's causing all the ruckus. Yeah, so there's very little of this model that's being glued onto the other piece. So that's why when I'm fitting it, it's a little on the challenging side, because very little of the model, like there's just such a small contact point. So I'm trying to show you from the front. So it's just a very, very small contact point. So it's a little challenging. Now, very cool, but they have to do it in that delicate way. Now, eventually we're going to probably put some other supporting pieces on here, which is going to make this look great. But until we get there, it's gonna look a little wonky. So I'm going to let that just dry for a minute and then look at what we're going to be doing for the other pieces really quick. But like I said, it's pretty straightforward to build. All right, so we got 5 and 6. So let's find 5 and 6. Is 5 and 6 not on this piece of paper? Oh, it's not. It's not on this fruit. Okay, so it has to be on the screw. I just found 6. Oh. Yeah, so you gotta be, it's interesting. You gotta be a little on the careful side with how you do this. So that was 6, and then where is 5? 5's down here. So 5's this guy right here. Yeah, but you want to try to really make sure that you're getting as close as possible to, you don't want to do tearaways, you don't want to do other stuff like that, because that's going to be not so good. And then I think we have to do, oh no, this is literally just a tack on. So it's gonna tack on like that. There's a lot of different ways to do this stuff. Like some people also use like tack, actually use like fun tack to do some of their gluing, which is not a bad idea either. But then you got to clean it off, which is always, because it can leave a residue or a build. Which is not always fun. But like I said, super glue is not bad. It just takes super glue takes a minute to set. It's not like plastic glue. Now, why I don't like using the plastic glue is because since it does actually fuse the plastic together, I've had issues where on delicate pieces, I've put too much of the plastic glue and it has actually ruined the model. So you'll see, just leaving it for a minute, it's very, 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 very malleable. Now, what always becomes an interesting thing, which I'm just doing this for dry fit, because I don't want to push on any of these pieces. I'm going to do it from the back. To see how, again, if you do it from the back, you can find the piece a little bit better. You can find how it's going to fit. Bigger models like this, they usually do a much better job with seams. They usually do. Hold on. I'm trying to be extremely delicate with how I push this down. Again, there is I am using a lot of glue. I very much am. And that's because, like I said before, I'm so used to these models with this very little contact point that I'm trying to really use a lot of glue so it sets a little faster. But like I also said, the minute that we start gluing these pieces down, that's going to give us that structure so it feels a little bit more secure, which I both love about GW and hate about GW, because they do it this way, and this is another like natural way to hide the seams. They do this a lot for that reason. Oops. I'm just gonna pop some glue in there. That's what I expected. I expected that to happen. I expected that. I've already gotten glue on my hand, which we... this is going to be a pain in the butt. It's more so finding the spots that you can hold the model on. And I have a running joke whenever I buy Chaos and or Orc models. They always put spikes everywhere. But now you can see, like, it becomes a lot easier for that. But look how cool that already is looking. This, like, stone staircase, which he's going to be on top of. Which is freaking awesome. But like I said, so the stone, the altar is pretty easy to get. It's made of very few pieces, which I like. You know, it's really only made of like 5 or 6 pieces, which I'm always a fan of that. What I am not looking forward to is some of the smaller details on him, and we're probably, I'm gonna guess that I'm gonna get through. I might get through a good chunk of them, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to build the whole thing. We'll see how far we get. Well, now we're moving on to the other side. I'm just dry fitting that so I can see where I gotta go. See, this is... no! Damn it. Yeah, this is why you may... It's probably a better idea to wait a little bit. I'm going a little too fast. You really should let your glue dry before you move on to the next part, because what you're about to see, which is going to be a little on the... This is going to be a little on the annoying side. I'm trying to be delicate with this. Oh, come on. All right, let's hold it there. I'm trying to give you guys a view. I'm sorry. Yeah, basically what I'm realizing, and that just came off very nicely in my hand, was exactly what I just did, which is that in order I don't know what it is about this top staircase, but it's a piece that it's a piece that doesn't want to stay on, and now I've successfully put glue on another part of it, so this is going to be a lot of fun to try to get to fit now. Basically, the issue is that it's not sitting right, because when I go to put this piece on, the there we go. So I don't know if you guys heard that, but essentially, actually, you know what? Maybe it would be better if I just did this first. There was like a clicking sound, and usually when you hear that, like a clicking sound like that, what that is telling you is that you had part of the model off. There was a part of it that wasn't lined up properly. But I'm trying something a little bit different to see if this works better. Ooh. Which is not the way that GW told me to put this model together, but I'm going to try it. To see if I can get the piece to fit the right way. So my seams all line up a little bit better. Yeah, that actually worked out really well. And it could also be to your benefit sometimes to actually use the base. Especially when you're building elements like this that have to be like lined up. Because then you can force all the pieces nice and tight together as you get them. And I'm sorry I can't show you guys this on camera. I'm being a little bit strongholded to try to like minimize the seams. But now you can see all the seams inside line up very much nicer than they did a minute ago. And again, it's both an awesome thing about GW, and then it's also a pain in the butt thing. It's that they do this kind of design they're actually trying to minimize the amount of seams that they have in the model. So that's why they build their models like this. But what it also makes for folks like me who are, you know, building this stuff, and so what you'll hear is you heard that little crack again, because what that little crack did was just pop it in place so that I could keep that nice form going. Alright, so that's the stone base we did. We got that done. I was going to say, usually the way that they're going to do it is you make the base piece and then you start making the character. Right, and then this is going to be our customized area parts. This is where we could either go with the fantasy character or the or you could do, now this would be a good time if you wanted to fool around with like making stuff magnetic. So you could literally use them in either, so you could make a magnetic character, so you could take that element off or on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to build the fantasy character. I may not actually put him on the base though. I may think up another thing that I want to do. Because it would be interesting, because you know, when you think about it, even if you're in the 40K universe, if he's erupting out of the ground, it wouldn't be outlandish to have like older soldiers there. The only problem is that the 40K guy wouldn't make any sense in the fantasy realm. But I don't know, I feel like there's a way I could spin it or paint it to make it look interesting. I don't know. And if you guys have any questions or comments, please let me know. Oh, that's how he goes. So he's going to look like that, and then we have to do like energy coming out of him, because the idea is that when he emerges, you know, what they want you to be showing here is how he you know, basically is sucking the soul energy out of the troops that he's walking by, because that's essentially what his blade does. His blade is it actually collects the soldier's soul, as many of the chaos weapons do, and you guys can see. So that's the fantasy, which I think is kind of cool, because it's actually a chaos guy, so he's actually killing his own troops, which is an interesting take on it. I guess the one thing that I think is a little annoying is you have to hunt down sprues. Like, you have to jump from sprue to sprue. It's not all kind of laid out in one sprue. I think GW in general, I wish that they would get better at that. Like, I always give, Marvel Crisis Protocol, like, a really good shout out for that, because when you build their figures, it's very, very straightforward. in their like assembly instructions and stuff. Now, granted, they don't have as much customizing, so I will knock them for that. Like, you don't have as many customized options as GW does. And there's a very good reason for that. The reason for that is they're not doing that because, and that's what we got. So pretty cool. They're not doing that because they're looking to sell more models. So they're actually going, you know, one thing that is a little bit on the annoying side for them is they are going to be making alternative versions of characters. So, and they've already done it. They've made 2 Spider-Mans. They made 2 Black Widows. So, you know, just as much as I give GW flack for certain things, you know, I'm going to definitely say that, you know, that's kind of annoying. Like, it would have been, to me, it would have been more interesting if they did more varying customizing poses for models. But, you know, it is their prerogative to do that. So, but they are deciding to go that route. So, okay. That was probably the stupidest thing I've ever done in my life that I did off camera, so none of you saw it. But where is this supposed to go? I need to start using tweezers, which would be the appropriate thing to do for models. So yeah, these skulls, they go... That was funny. These skulls go right in this crevice, this crack. Everything is falling. Like, this is just a haphazard video today. Yeah, so these skulls have to go in here. And I literally just put glue and then, like, held it in my hand. And I'm like, oh, I got super glue all over myself. Because those I'll put in. Because going back to what I said, like, if you think about a Demon Prince opening a portal, like, it could still have skulls and stuff around it. I may hold off again on the shield and the guy until I figure out what I'm going to do as far as basing. But skulls are always fun. 9 and 10 and 11. Okay. I think these are all on the second floor. Sorry, guys. Hold on 1 second. I'm dropping things as always. So let me just show you guys the piece that I grabbed. So that's going to be some hanging stuff we got to work on. So that's that was 10, and then I need. Oh my God! So 9 is extremely delicate. You can see how delicate that one is. So you want to be real careful when you pull these guys out. Like, what I tend to do is I tend to go for the ones that are like on the most delicate parts, like clipping those out first. Because, and GW has done this to me on multiple occasions. They've sprued it so that you literally, just by taking it out of the sprue, you can break a piece because the plastic is so thin. So like with stuff like this, sometimes I'll do that. So you'll see how I actually broke the piece there, just so I could do it manually afterwards. So I'll do that. And then 11, which 11 looks like a bigger piece. 11. Is 11 on this side? Let's see. No, 11 is not on that side. 11. Where are you, 11? There it is. So 11 is this guy right here. But yeah, I've done that like especially with like a lot of mount units, like if they have any kind of like ribbon or unit that's going to be on there. And then this is where they get real cool. So you can see here they gave us divots. So those divots are going to be where we put things in there. I love when they do this versus like the knobs like we had in the pieces in here, because it's like so straightforward on like how you're going to put that in based on what that is. Because you just look at your piece and you look at how it's formed. And then it just fits right in nice and snug into that piece. So you don't have to go crazy trying to reinvent the wheel to figure out what is going on with something. Okay. Now these pieces are the exact opposite. So they are going to be annoying because the way that they did them, actually no, maybe they're not going to be annoying. They basically didn't put on the tops of the see what I'm talking about? I already broke it. Oh, that's so annoying. So it's crazy. So this is a good example of you got to set it and forget it kind of stuff, because it's so delicate and fragile. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, so you literally, all I'm doing is I'm just massaging. Yeah, it doesn't want to. So the reason I'm having such a conniption with this so that basically the natural plastic has a natural bow sometimes, and it's a phenomenon that happens here. Part of it is that my finger is sticking to it. So plastic will have a natural, it'll have a natural bow. And sometimes this happens literally inside of the GW box. So the plastic will warp inside the box, and so you'll get this phenomenon, which is annoying as heck, but it literally is that you're just working with warped plastic. Now, also, you guys can't see it, but if you look, there is actually a link in the chain that broke. So going back to what I was saying before, that's why I no, it should go this way. Alright, this is gonna be a real annoying build. I hate when they do elements like this. Because there's two things that can happen while you're doing this. While you're trying to put it in, you can actually break these really easily because they're so delicate. Because what'll happen is, or no, maybe it's supposed to be the other way. Is it supposed to be? Yeah, it is supposed to be the other way. I am putting it in wrong. That's why it's giving me so much trouble. Yeah, it's not that I hate assembling them. It's not that I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry I did that off camera. It's not that I hate assembling the models. I just hate when they do stuff like that. I mean, that actually was a little bit better than it normally is because they did a nice job by hiding the seam by having the rock there. So it was much better. But this goes back to why I was like really obsessing about getting the base nice and even and make sure I could get everything together as well as I could because I knew we were going to have little elements like that that had to like link up. So our base is going to stay over here because I think we're done with that. All right, now we're moving on to the main event. So now we're moving on to actually building our demon. And we need... I mean, this guy I'm not as worried about because... he's going to be straightforward once we get him onto his base. Because he's standing on a staircase. Which those are always good ones. Because GW has done a really nice job in their model building designs. To like make footing on steps and things. So that it's not like the most annoying thing to do. So they should be a little bit better. I'm just trying to get the sprue out, and then I'll get the stuff. Yeah, maybe I will get that. Maybe where are we at time-wise? Nah, probably won't. I'll have to stop in a little bit. I'm also notoriously good at putting glue in the wrong place. I should have realized where I was putting this based on the anatomy of what I was looking at. Because he's got I always forget with demons, they like to do hunched over heads. They're like huge on that. 24. But I can't wait to paint. I love painting creatures and demons and stuff. They're always fun to paint. And I do want to like eventually get the Broken Realm book so I could do the scenario play for him. So we can get that going. Yeah, I was hoping that I was going to get some Cursed City models painted today too. So maybe later tonight we'll have that video up. I'll do some painting too. How does that fit? Oh, that's cheek. That's weird. Alright. It's always good to do dry fits, guys. Like, always try to do your dry fits because then you won't have issues like I'm having now. Because right now, going back to what I was saying about GW and them trying not to have seams, this is a great example of that where you're basically suspending this model. Oh, good. Okay, glue got on that part. Like, you're literally, the contact area that you're gluing this on is so small. And it's literally just, like, keeping it in place until you get the legs on. Because this is, again, this idea that GW is trying to do where they're trying to not have too many seams. Which they do an amazingly pretty good job of, but it can make the build, like, very weird. What I'm very, very, very much not looking forward to is I do want to get that new elf character that they did, which is also part of Broken Realms. But that thing looks crazy because it's like he's like suspended in midair playing a flute, and it's like this fairly what looks to be a fairly large model. But it's just gonna be like crazy. Yeah, now we have to do... Yeah, so going back to dry fitting, I'm just dry fitting it so I can be like, oh, okay, cool, this part goes there, that part goes there. And just being smart where you glue, too, is another, like, good part to all of this. Is, like, try to put your glue where you have the most surface area so you can... get the part, because most of the rest of it's just going to slide in. This other piece I don't have really a good... I don't have a good way to tell people to do that. I'm probably, like, for me, for something like this, I'm going to just, you know, pop some glue and then use the tip of the glue to just, like, get it on as much of the pieces as I can. So that when I put it down, it's got a little bit of surface area. But this is one of those types of pieces that, in general, is just annoying to glue. Because it really doesn't sit. And like I said before, I have a tendency to get a little on the impatient side. So I'm just gluing things usually too fast. Because, not that I hate building models, but... the model building piece isn't always my favorite piece. Oh my god, these legs are insane. Okay. Alright, let me do the simpler leg out of the two. Yeah, these legs have like 17 different parts to them. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. One leg is like kind of two parts. So you have to build the both sides of the leg, but then also they're doing the claw thing where you have to pull out two claws. Which I don't hate that idea. It's just so annoying. But again, it goes back to they're just really trying to not have any lines. They don't want seams. And, you know, for me, a person sitting here going like, that's annoying. There's a bunch of other people out there that are like appreciative that they don't have all those seams. Because I've seen, like, for instance, the giant models or the behemoths. Those are models where I think they could have worked a little bit harder to not make the seams as bad. Those had a lot of bad seams to them. Yeah, so again, just doing a dry fit to see how that's going to fit on there. Now, when I see stuff like this, where I have like clear holes that are there, I'm a fan of just popping some glue in the holes to make a little less glue points, and then we can set it up to dry like that, and then that usually works out pretty well. Now we need to also clock out 27 and 28, which are, and I'm going to say, which one is this? 27, so I'm going to put it on this side of my paper, and 28, which I'll put on this side of my paper. And those are going to be those are going to be the feet pieces. Yeah, because of the intricacies of some of the feet and stuff, I probably won't get him all. I won't get him all done today. I mean, not in this one session. I'll have to do some. You'll see me continue this probably tonight. And what I'll do is maybe I'll continue this tonight, and then at the same time, I'll do a little bit of painting too. Because like I said, I'm probably gonna have to. Yeah, definitely gonna have to stop in a minute. So maybe I'll get half of his body built. Oh. So again, we're reviewing. For folks that are just joining us, crap. All right, there we go. Please just stay on. Okay, we're reviewing the Lakor, the Dark Master model. So we're doing a build session with that. We're getting there. We got his base done. Oh, that's interesting. That just like kind of properly fits in there. Oh, and this is where the model starts to fall apart. I'm just gonna put a little glue in there. Nice. So you guys can see he's already, again, decently. He's not a very big model because he's kind of in line with a demon, because he is a demon prince. So he's kind of in line with those models and that sizing. Oh wait, there was more. Oh shit. Alright, can I pull it off before it dries? Yes, I can. Thank you, God. There was more stuff to put on it, which is my fault. It's totally my fault. 29. Can't be a demon prince without some armor and stuff, and I totally forgot the armor on his leg. Okay. Yeah, so he's got armor that goes in there. So that's the dry fit, just so you could see where I'm putting it. I'm like, I should have looked at the top of it and been like, he's got a lot of stuff I haven't put on him yet. But I just like totally was on autopilot and was like, ooh, I gotta go. Yeah, so like I said, probably won't finish all of them today. Probably get these legs done and then we'll call it quits after that. But so 29, and then oh my God, it's like there's 3 pieces to an armor piece. Why? All right, so I need 31. There are spikes on the armor, and the way that they did them is insane. So 31, which I'm going to put on that side. I need 32, which I'm going to put on this side. Oh my God. All right, this is crazy. And then the actual piece is 30. Again, it's all so that they don't do seams. That's why they're doing it all like this. Want to see. Oh, okay. Well, see, to me it seems easier. Oh no. Yeah, wouldn't it just be easier to do? No, it's not going to be easier to do that. That's a lie. It's going to be harder to do it that way. Okay. So I think, if I'm right, so I'm going to try to show you guys how this is going, but yeah, so basically you have to put, oh my God, you have to put the spikes, this is insane. You have to put the spikes through these holes and then glue the whole thing in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dry fit all this together. Oh my god, this is insane. Okay, so that's in there. Because I think it's easier if I dry fit them in. And then and then I glue it from there. There we go. Yeah, because then it's easier. And then what I could do is I could just put I'll just put a, good amount of glue in there. So that it's all kind of coming together. And then I'll just press it onto here. Ow. So going back to what I said, this is what I love about Chaos models. They put 1,000 spikes on them. So you can't really push it down, which is why I went for that other way to do it. Now, final product, it looks so awesome, but it's crazy. Because again, they want to make it so that there's no visible seam. But going back to what I said, now like you're trying to like form that up, but you can't because there's giant spikes there, so you're gonna keep like hurting your fingers. Wow, that's crazy. Very cool though. All right. Other leg, much nicer because he only has armor on one side of his leg. So it's funny. I said I was going to do the less complicated leg, and I definitely did not. I did the more complicated one. We're getting to the point where we're looking decent. It's probably going to be on its shoulder blade. Okay, so 34. Right, that's this guy. I realize I'm not showing a lot of stuff on camera, which is why I don't know if you guys like when I do model build videos. I like doing it because I can talk about the model and like give like my first impressions of it, and then I can give you guys like a proper painting first impressions video too. 33 is what I'm looking for next. 33. Is that on the other sheet? It is. I don't know why they do that. I would always, like, going back to what I said, I wish they would put the legs on the same... I wish they would put the legs on the same thing. Now, this model retails for $140. I don't know if I would necessarily say... I mean, once we get the wings on him, I mean, from a model standpoint, like a pose standpoint, and like from that kind of stuff, it is a very impressive model. There is a lot of detail in the model. Do I think it's 140 level detail? I don't know about that. I mean, the behemoth giant, which I thought had a ton of detail, you know, was 125. So like, I don't know if I would go along in a journey and say, you know, that I agree that this is like worth that. But I mean, we'll see it in action once we're all finished. I mean, it does have a lot of detail, and you know, again, as a model, you know, folks may not remember. So this is, you know, there are new rules obviously for this model because of Broken Realms, but this is a redo of an older model. Like, there was an older model of this character, but it was a much smaller model. So, you know, because they've really, in the last couple of years, they've really been trying to push, you know, the scaling. So, you know, really trying to get characters so there's a more dynamic scaling mechanic in. Yeah, I'm gonna have to head out in a minute. They really have tried to push the scale envelope so that, you know, bigger characters, bigger, you know, specifically special characters, are the size that they're supposed to be, and so that when you're looking at your battlefield, there's definitely, look at that, look at those toes, that's really cool. There's definitely a dynamic of size. Like, size is definitely a thing, so that, like, you do have monsters that are monstrous size or behemoth size. Yeah, now I always put in the chaos symbols because which you know, I think you can get away with in fantasy, but you'll see there are two customized there. That's the 40K, that's the fantasy side. They're both really the same. Now, I've been known to dabble in both, and I'm going to confirm that I can do that. But I like doing that kind of stuff. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll take the chest plate from this build, and then I'll take the chest plate from the other build. But I don't think you can do that, because I think they're I think they actually articulate the arm differently. So I want that articulation. Oh, it's just a... Okay, no. I'm sorry. It's not a 40K. It's just a difference in articulation. Yeah, I like the pointing. I like the more aggressive. Okay. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know it had a difference in articulation. That's very cool. That was a surprise. I didn't think this model kit had that. So we need for that 23. You know, I do wish that GW would offer more articulation, more ways for us as players to get like diversity to our models. They used to, like a long time ago, they were much more apt to do that. They made their models a little bit more generic bases so that you could play with it and they would sell So they used to do that, where it was a little bit more customizable. And then they sort of went away from that model as the years went on. And a lot of players, like these days, are actually, you know, annoyed about that. That's actually one of the reasons why you'll see a lot of a trend to go to other companies. To go to other companies for models, because they want things that are less stagnant. So it's interesting. It's interesting that people are doing that. Yeah, there's going to be some little details that are going to be really annoying in here. But I'm seeing some things that are cool. I like that they're I noticed they give you multiple heads. So I think you can give him like multiple poses. 44 is the one I want. Okay. Yeah. Like I said, oh no. Probably not even going to get to finish this arm. We'll get that hand on there, and then I may have to say goodbye for now, and we'll come back later. I urge you guys to check out some of my other painting videos. If you haven't yet, also take a look at YouTube. You can sign up. Right now, it's going to have It actually has a lot of older painting videos. So if you go back and watch some of my painting videos and you like them, you can check. Oh my God. You could go back and check them out. Oh my Lord, this is crazy. It's, you know what it is? It's the crazy glue. It's so it's so lucid and it's so liquidy. There we go. Just trying to get it lined up so I can get that all settled, because I don't want to have a terrible seam. But going back to what I was saying before, it's just very hard because you don't have anything to really grab onto. That's why tweezers are your best friend, and I really should be using tweezers more, but like I say all the time, I am doing everything. I'm rushing, you know. I'm always rushing. I always have 1,000 things to build, 1,000 things to do. Where are those other things? There they are. And we need 47. And we do 47 on this side. $46. Okay. So same rules as before. Okay, so if I'm looking at this, 46 is going to go on this side. Like, this is a great example for tweezers. I really should be using tweezers, but I don't. Ah, come on. So stupid. Okay, so got that in there. I'm gonna do the same way that I did the other one, where I'm gonna go in. Oh, it literally, I can't. Sorry, guys. I'm trying. It keeps falling out of my hand. Like, literally, I literally have a set of tweezers in front of me, and I'm not using them. I'm going to do that right now. Here is what you guys should be doing. Can't actually. Sorry, guys. I could only imagine how, like, non-entertaining. Oh my God, this is like the most frustrating thing on the planet. And all I'm trying to do is fit it in there. That's all I'm trying to do. It's because, there we go. That's all I'm trying to do is just fit it in there. Because, like I said, it's just easier to fill this whole channel, fill the whole channel with glue, so that I could just then go to the arm and just fit it on there. And then you get all your spikes, but then you have a nice solid glue form in there to get that all set. All right, I think that's going to be it. So we're gonna pop this on, pop the chest piece on. And then we're going to pop that arm on. And that's going to be all she wrote. Now, what I hate and love is that what you guys are going to notice right now Remember how I said GW tries to do this great job of giving you no seams. But they always, in Chaos models, oh, Jesus. They always, in Chaos models, give you a seam right by the head. Now, the head, when it goes on, does usually cover part of this, but it doesn't always do that. And I don't know why it's just like a unique thing for Chaos players, but you get to see that. Now, that looks already very cool. Very cool. Oh my God, this is like a haphazard show today. It's because I'm trying to do this fast and I got to get going in like 5 minutes. All right, cool. So that's where we got off. I actually built quite a bit of them. So we got some base decoration done. We got him done. So we got quite a few things done. We're actually going to be basing him within a couple of steps. So if you guys look, we only have to do a little bit more for frame him up than he actually goes on the base. And then we can start working on the wings. So for right now, that's going to be it for today. I'll be coming back to you guys tonight. Please check out the links below. Again, I want to shout out Undiscovered Realms, the sponsor of this video, for supplying me with the stuff and always being there and getting me the gaming stuff I need. You can check out their website. They do tabletop gaming. They do collectible card games. They do all kinds of stuff. So please check them out. And also check out my website, Patreon, and tip/donation button if you guys really love what was going on for a monetary way to support the channel. But as always, if you want to see more, just follow the channel, sign up for notifications, know when we're live so you can be with us. All right, take care, everybody, and I'll see you at the next video. Take care.